Hey, what's happening, y'all? Well, what can I say? Billy Joe Saunders defeats Willie Monroe Jr. in a 12-round unanimous decision in a very, very lackluster, if not dull, fight. Okay. All I can say is that the build-up to the fight was made the fight more interesting than it actually was. Okay, and the way that Willie Monroe was disrespected during that whole lead up to the fight, you expect him to be a little bit more aggressive and utilize his counter punching, slippery, awkward style to overwhelm Billy Joe Saunders, but that didn't happen in this fight. And looking at this fight, some will question, where is Willie Monroe's passion? Where was his motivation in this fight? Because I didn't see it at all. I know you know, he was giving up too many rounds. He was waiting for Billy Joe Saunders to come at him, so hopefully he can counter him effectively. But the problem is with that particular style Billy Joe Saunders has is that he can move and hit at the same time. Now the thing about, to be fair though, even though Willie Monroe was not effective with his style, and yes, he was starting to press the action a little too late in the last two rounds. Um, Billy Joe Saunders didn't really land any shots either. I mean, both men wasn't really landing anything at all. I mean, yes, there was a few punches here and there. They had their moments. Particularly Monroe had his moments in the last two rounds when he was hitting Billy Joe. He was tagging him up a bit more. He was doubling up with the jab. Then hit him with the right, to the left to the body, whatnot. He was starting to throw a little bit of combos here and there, but the thing is that both men just looked very lackluster in there, to be fair. And the reason why Billy Joe Saunders, I scored the fight for him, because he was the one who was actually taking the risks. And Willie Monroe just wasn't really taking any risk, and his corner implored him to do it in the later rounds. I don't know why they told him to do it before, and told him to take risks on, when it got that late in the fight. They should have told him to do it, of course, in the middle of the fight, where I thought it was pretty close between the two. I think it was even, up to the fifth round. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm distracted by a movie here. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty even. And then, like I just previously mentioned, Billy Joe Saunders pressed the action, even though he wasn't really landing any shots. But you can see the reason why the judges were more persuaded to give the rounds to him, because he was the one pressing the action, while Monroe was just countering one shot to two shots. He was just waiting. I was like, dude, there's no reason to wait, man. And the fact that Billy Joe Saunders' conditioning comes into question here. Yes, he looked great. He looked like he was in great shape under the training regimen of Dominic Engel, but he looked very gassed. He looked very tired going into the sixth, seventh, or eighth round. And so I believe that Monroe should have taken advantage right there and then when Saunders was getting tired and he was gasping for some air. But again, it was too little, too late. He started to press the action until the 10th, 11th, well, maybe the 11th or 10th round. But yeah, very disappointing performance by both men, and particularly Monroe. I mean, especially the way you were disrespected leading up to this fight, especially at the weigh-in where Billy Joe's son just, punched him in the groin and then kicked him as well. I mean, come on, man. That should warrant some bit of motivation to go in there and try to handle business, but he didn't. Okay, and then after the fight, Billy Joe Saunders was being gracious to him and whatnot. Try to be very respectful at the end. Of course, Billy Joe went on the mic, and then after the fight, addressing the crowd, and then his son got up to the mic and he asked his son to apologize to Willie Monroe, and he said, "I'm sorry for punching you in the nuts." I'm like, get the I mean, Jesus Christ. To me, I know, Billy. I think Billy Joe Saunders should have not had his son do that. I think he should apologize for his son rather than have his son go up to the mic and apologize. I think that's further beating Willie Monroe to the ground after the fact that he knew he lost the fight. I mean, when I'm referring to Monroe when I just said that. But anyhow, yeah, definitely disappointing for William Monroe. I mean, he had a second chance at a title. Well, actually, at a real title fight, I should say. Golovkin wasn't really the WBA champion. He was the regular champion. No. Actually, I'll take that back. He was a super champion when they fought, I believe. I believe he was a super champion when he fought Golovkin. I have to take a look at that. Was he the super champion? Hold up, let me look at it. Okay, bear with me here for a minute, guys. All right, let's see. Golovkin, yeah, he was a super champion for the WBA. So yeah, he had it. This is his second title shot. He lost, so that doesn't mean he's a gatekeeper stage yet. So Willie Monroe still has an opportunity. He has he still has a young career, but he's got to find the heart, man. He's got to have the passion. And I recall in one of the interviews, I know the question was presented to him, was like, why did you quit the way you did it against Golovkin? He said he wanted to preserve his his health faculties. He wanted to be home to go home and speak to his kids and his wife and his family and whatnot. And that's his whole goal in the sport, is just to make as much money as he can and maintain his health faculties. But I get all that. I understand that's that's every fighter's goal, is to make as much money as you can, and then call it a career and maintain all your health faculties. I get all that, but at the same time, you are in a combative business, and you're in a combative environment, knowing that you're gonna there are gonna be some points. Sometimes you're gonna get hurt, but you're gonna have to take risks to win fights. And that's what I got. That's the vibe and attitude I got from Monroe, because I don't think he was there trying to win the fight. I think he was trying to do as much as he can, survive the fight, and then call it a day and collect a check and go home to his family. That's the vibe I got. And no disrespect to Willie Monroe, I like the guy, but that's really the attitude that I got from him. I don't think he really tried hard enough, as many of the commenters and the video uploaders are really going after him for. And like I said, to be fair, he did try at the end, like the last 2 rounds, but he should have done that earlier. And yeah, he's going to have to go home. He's going to have to really if he really want to continue his career, he's going to have to learn that he's going to have to start taking chances in big fights like this. And, if your style's not working for you initially, you're going to have to change it up. You're going to have to change strategy. You're going to have to adjust. And he didn't do that. He failed to do that until 11th and the 12th round, which again I have to repeat, it was too late for him. So Billy Joe Saunders gets the win. What's next for both fighters? Billy Joe Saunders, I have to tell you one thing. If he ever goes up against other top middleweight like Danny Jacobs, even David Lemieux, Gennady Golovkin, or Canelo Alvarez, he's going to get his ass beat. I'm sorry. He's going to get his ass whooped. They won't give him no respect, especially the style that he has. And he has a tricky style, but no, the way that Billy Joe has performed in his last 2 fights, I definitely don't give him not much of a shot against those other middleweights that I've mentioned, okay? And this is the second fight in a row that he's had a lackluster performance. Though he came in better shape in this fight than he did in his last, but he definitely didn't perform that well either. And he did perform a little bit better, but still not up to par. So, and as far as Willie Monroe is concerned, definitely got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what you're going to do at this point and reevaluate your career. It really got to that point for him. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts about this. I'm out.